Mario Barrios in action on Saturday up in Trenton. Very good-looking 21-year-old, very good-looking fighter out of San Antonio, Texas. Kind enough to join us for a couple moments. How are you, Mario?
Hey, how's it going?
Everything is going well. Everything is going well. Appreciate a couple moments. And a big fight for you, big step up for you Saturday night against Devis, Boschiero. Your first 12-rounder. It's a major step up. It's the main event. I mean, you're looking at yourself as a 21-year-old and you're taking on a guy who's had 40-something odd fights. Talk a little bit about this matchup and how much of a step up it is for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this fight, I mean, it's a huge step up. Like you said, it's our first 12-rounder. We're going against a veteran who's gone 12 rounds multiple times. But, I mean, we trained really hard for this fight, and, I mean, we feel more than prepared.
Did you do anything different as far as regiment? Did you keep training out in San Antonio, out in Texas? Did you go to Vegas? Did you do anything different this camp?
Yeah, actually, this whole camp we spent in Vegas. So I mean, we've had 4 weeks of training here. You know, we had some high altitude runs. We had some great sparring out here, and yeah, I mean, we just feel more than prepared for this fight.
When you look at yourself, tall, lanky, southpaw, 6 foot, but you got the height, you got the reach, you got the power. I mean, we saw with a couple of your last fights with those left hooks that presented a ton of knockouts. Where do you see yourself right now going into this fight? Is this, I don't want to say too early for a career-defining fight because you're just 21, but in my opinion, you can make a statement taking on a guy that's fought for a couple titles, a tough Italian fighter. You got the marquee spotlight on Saturday night. What would a win mean for you?
A win Saturday night means everything. Like I said, I mean, we're trying to move from being a prospect, you know, to a contender. And we know in order for us to do that and to get the bigger fights and to move a step closer to the title fight, that we have to move past Devis on Saturday night.
Well, how about the division as a whole? I mean, it's it's actually stacked. We always talk about the welterweight, we talk about the middleweights, but you look at you guys, super featherweights, you look at 125, you look at 130. I mean, that division, you just go up and down the line. And you look at some of the fighters in the division, and really, you're kind of like the baby of that division. I mean, you got guys that are in their mid to late 20s, in their early 30s, but how about some of the marquee names in that division? We just saw a kid in our backyard, Jason Sosha, win a title from South Jersey, but talk a little bit about where you put yourself in the division.
Yeah, this division, 130, even 126, 135. I mean, they're stacked. Like there's plenty of great fighters. There's plenty of great fights to be made, and I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like this fight, I mean, it's gonna put me, you know, like a step closer, you know, to beginning, you know, those fights with those bigger names also.
Yeah, and even you look at some of the U.S. fighters that are ranked with the Sosas, Tevin Farmer, another Philly fighter, yourself, Toka Conclary, Omar Douglas. We saw Rod Solko, even though he didn't have much luck against Danny Garcia. But you're talking about some of these guys in the division, and certainly a win on Saturday night kind of jettons you up the rankings. And again, a couple minutes, Mario Barrios, 15-0, 8 knockouts, taking on former title challenger Devis, Boschiero, and that's going to be a 12-round main event, PBC on ESPN and ESPN Deportes, Saturday, July 9th, Trenton, New Jersey, Sun National Bank Center. Good venue. How about fighting on ESPN?
Oh man, we're more than excited. I mean, you know, this will be our first time as a main event, you know, and having it on the network ESPN. I mean, it's almost like a dream come true. I mean, I grew up watching fights on ESPN, and now to know that I'm fighting the main event, man, it's almost unreal.
What have you learned? Like when you look at yourself, you're a young fighter, and I always talk about fighters that need to be tested, and it's been. And that's okay. It's been relatively easy thus far for you. Yeah, you've had to battle with some fights, but you've had some knockouts. You had some quick wins. You had unanimous decisions. But now it's a 12-rounder. Typically, young fighter getting their feet wet, a 12-rounder, that 8th, 9th, 10th round, that's kind of you kind of measure yourself where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. But What does it mean that already now, 15 fights in your pro career, it's a headliner, it's a main event, it's a 12-rounder? What does that mean for you? What does that say about you?
I think it says a lot. I mean, my past couple fights, they were 8-round fights, but I mean, even when the ones that went the full 8 rounds, I mean, afterwards we felt we could go 6 more. You know, like we felt really good. So I mean, this was going 12 rounds was a decision that me and my whole team, you know, we've come to the conclusion that I'm ready for. And I mean, yeah, I mean, just I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people saying, you know, doubting whether if I'm ready or not, whether it's too early. And I mean, all I can say to those people is tune in on Saturday night.
How about the fight against Manuel Vides and the way that fight ended? I mean, we talk about, and some of your other fights, even against Rivera, talk about explosive knockout power, being able to kind of lay a guy out with one punch. It seems like, you know, your strength is off that counter, left, that left hook, that check hook. I mean, if you were to, without giving the game plan away, what would be your 1 or 2 strengths as a fighter that, you know, as soon as you go in the ring, you're a good counter puncher, you know, you got that left, you know, you got the good footwork, you're mentally tough. What are 2 or 3 good points to look for Saturday night when someone says, man, this kid's pretty strong in one area?
I would say a couple points. I mean, throughout my whole life as a boxer, I mean, I was brought up as a counter puncher, and then I mean, we in the gym we train, you know, every shot we throw, you know, if it lands, it's gonna hurt you. And I mean, another thing, body attack. I mean, I was raised just loving body shots, you know, just loving how they break a fighter down, you know, toward the end of a fight.
I got 2 more quickies for you, and again, I appreciate a couple moments. When you look at your opponent, again, has that classic European style, will fight small, very aggressive, will come at you. Does that benefit you, being the taller fighter where you're standing, having that height, having that reach, having that power? Is that something you kind of invite, hey, look, if he's going to start to come in my wheelhouse and he wants to fight on the inside, then I'm going to have an opportunity here to lay him out. Look, we know you don't go looking for the knockout, but how about, without giving the game plan too much away for Saturday night, where do you see you can defeat your opponent? Where are some of his weaknesses?
I think besides looking at his weaknesses, I mean, we have to just focus on the game plan that we set up, which is, you know, something I can't really be talking about, but I mean, you know, just at the end of the day, just fighting the smarter fight, fighting the taller fight. You know, my opponent's 5'5", you know, so there'll be no point in trying to stay there, you know, fighting his fight.
Right. Yeah. I tried to get it out of you. You got to give me credit for that. Listen, last one for you. Everyone looks at Jose Pedrada's his 130-pound title, what he's been able to do in that division. We talked about some of those other fighters I mentioned just on U.S. soil. You're taking on the most accomplished opponent of your career. So with the win, do you think that kind of puts you in number 3, number 2? It puts you in better position going forward? Like, where within the calendar year, let's say you win on Saturday night, where do you see yourself within the calendar year? Do you think you'll be vying for a title?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully by the end of 2016, we'll be fighting for a title. That's the plan.
All right, listen, I know I got you. I know you're running around. You're busy. I appreciate a couple moments. The best of luck on Saturday night. Best of luck with you. I know you had a good camp, and certainly we look forward to touching base.
Me too. Thank you.
You got it, Mario. Take care of yourself, Mario Barrios. Very good-looking fighter.